Growing up in a town that was landlocked limited my ability to explore and to grow. At the first opportunity, I began traveling up and down the U.S. coast. At the time, I was living an extreme minimalistic lifestyle, nomading my worries away. Searching but never finding anywhere that gave me a sense of peace, tranquility, or made me feel safe enough to call it home. It wasn't long before I began thinking of journeying to the West Coast, spending my nights being rocked to sleep by the soothing sway of elevated trains, and my days on ferries watching the shoreline disappear into the horizon, traveling through national forests on snow-covered roads, unable to keep the wheels of my car between the mayonnaise and the mustard. Although privileged enough to witness the prairies of my beautiful country, I never forgot the feeling of white-knuckling my steering wheel against the turbulent power of Western windmills. And like my vehicle, my soul was suspended in a state of unrest. I didn't know what I wanted, but I understood what I had always loved. And as I watched the FedEx plane fly low overhead when I reminisced on my childhood, I carried a deep understanding that where I was in that moment was temporary. And even with this realization, I envied those boxes. It became more and more difficult to suppress my hidden desires, as I felt emphatically that I would live somewhere surrounded by water. Water has always been my passion, and I needed to be near it to feel whole. Coming down from a mountain hike with a friend one day, I encountered water as blue as the eyes of someone with Waardenburg syndrome. My heart leapt, and I ran over to be sure that it was real. I stood there trying to figure out how I could possess something so large and majestic. I slowly made my way down to Oregon, and while at Cannon Beach, I contemplated how something can literally sprout from nothingness. Nevertheless, the waters of the West Coast were a lot like most things in my life at that time, far too cold. Please don't get the impression that there were no large bodies of water where I was born. And granted, most of them are lakes. We also had some very cozy hot springs in which I frequently indulged. But as I began this love affair with water, I discovered it wasn't simply the water, but all things marine that intrigued me. I begin to recall how water, as beautiful as it is, can also be dangerous. After all, this is why we needed lighthouses, which served important safety and navigation purposes. For things like commerce and shipping necessities on large bodies of water, such as the Great Lakes, which has many lighthouses, by the way. And as I reviewed all of the bodies of water that I knew, it quickly brought me back to my birthplace, situated in the Delta region. Named after a location in Egypt on the Nile River. Till this day is Egyptian themed with a pyramid nestled on the banks of the mighty Mississippi. I remember when I first visited and I sat staring up at a tall statue of Ramses near the entrance. How silly, I thought, to have an Egyptian pharaoh in the deep south. Shaking my head, I carried on. Now, legend has it that an earthquake so strong hit the Mississippi River that it flowed backwards for a few hours. Perhaps that's how we got a boat aptly named the Mississippi Queen. Now, where I'm from, there are no pristine beaches, but if you're ever in the area, you might want to visit Mud Island. You see, I'm no stranger to the murky waters of rivers and lakes, but I crave the taste of salt water, the history of lighthouses, the majestic sights of whales and sea turtles. And I made my way out of that small, southern, Egyptian-themed town, hoping to satiate my desire for all things aqua. And throughout my journey, I fell even more in love with the profound history of lighthouses. In keeping with our Egyptian theme, I thought I might mention that the pharaohs of Alexandria in Egypt is probably one of the oldest lighthouses. It still somewhat exists. And after traveling along the coast, I discovered an unlikely connection between doulas and lighthouses, both serving the purpose of helping us navigate something as natural as birth or water. Although natural, both birth and water can cause trepidation, if not respected. And doulas, like lighthouses, shine the light on things that may take a mama off the trajectory of her dream birth. Doulas notify you if you've deviated from your birth plan. We provide a safe space and comfort when you are in active labor or having Braxton Hicks. We show you the way back to safe harbor after a traumatic birth or an unplanned C-section. A mariner is able to determine her location by sighting a lighthouse. Likewise, doulas can help mamas navigate a sea of emotion. Doulas also help you to identify when you may be close to meeting your new baby. Lighthouses in the past used sounds such as bells to alert and to inform. Doulas help guide you into a more relaxed state by introducing your favorite acoustic melodies. And sometimes doulas act as light ships, which historically were actually lighthouses aboard ships on the water. Doulas can guide you through emotional and physical aspects of your water birth, whether in your home, a birth center, or a hospital. And like lighthouses, you can sometimes spot a doula in the water, encouraging a mother during her long journey. We support you in whatever your ideal birth may be. So just like lighthouses, doulas have a long history of bringing not only birthing mamas, but entire families to safety. Doulas possess a rare skill, the ability to help a mother give birth in any place of her choice and influence her environment by dimming the lights, manipulating scents, and when a mother is lost in a sea of emotion and the waves of discomfort, doulas can be lighthouses, shining bright enough to help mama get her baby safely to her arms. As a doula, I support mamas in achieving something I never could, arriving to a place that feels like